Hello ladies and gentle ladies. Welcome back to another stream. Today we're going to be continuing on Railroad, so that's exciting. I know I'm a little bit late, but that's because I have set up some new music. So yeah, we don't have the classic Minecraft music anymore. We now have some hopefully more exciting, upbeat music. So yeah, hopefully that's going to be much better for this stream because we have a little bit of some boring code to write. So at least if we have some exciting music, then it's a little bit better. So yeah, last time we were writing a Lexer. And I've done some work on that since to kind of, well, I've completely redone the number stuff, basically. It just wasn't a good way of doing it. And I've also done char literals. I've also done some string stuff, but not a huge amount. Hello, Agent Cryer. Welcome to the stream. Speaking of Alexa, have you unplugged Alexa yet? No, I have not. That's actually... Thank you for reminding me. There we go. Oh, you know what I also haven't done? I haven't announced to Discord. I do need to do that, otherwise I'll completely forget. So... Let me do that. There we go, that's Discord done. Fantastic. Hello Frosty Flipper, welcome to the stream. I don't know what your code structure looks like, but you can still mine if you want it. It should work with Java code. You have a Parser Lexer? It sounds very weird you saying it. It is very weird. It's weird for me to even say it. I'm not... Yeah, it's very weird. And hello Gogo, welcome to the stream. I think we're basically fine with writing our own, but it is just going to take a while to do, of course. Today, all we really need to do, at least as far as I'm aware, or at least to get started, we'll be doing strings and then text blocks. And then the other thing we need to do is going to be tests. So we're going to have to start writing some tests. Because there's a lot of things to do in terms of tests. Might come back to this one actually. To do null check or null handling. Oh yes, you can't see. Oh my god. I'm so unorganized today, man. Okay, here we go. There you go. Now you can see. Okay, I was trying to show you guys things, but yes, you can't see. So what I've done was I redid all of the number parsing stuff. So it's now got a bunch of different methods it goes into and whatnot. I've also got reading of char literals somewhere, which I'm never going to find. There it is. It's actually only quite a small method, this one. Which also consumes escape codes as well, so that's this whole code here, just to validate the escape code and whatnot. And then, yeah, what we've got to do today is strings and multi-line strings. So that's the plan. Can I help you test like I did with Pepperlang? Maybe. But probably, well, not yet. Yeah, definitely not yet. Because for now, what we need to do is write automated tests. So that we can check things work. So let's, well, obviously we're not doing that right now, but we need to read strings right now. So that's the plan. Now I'm getting hot already. Kind of crazy because it's only 20 degrees today, but now my fan is on, so hopefully you can't hear that. Looks like you can't hear that. You might be able to hear that maybe when I'm talking, but it shouldn't be too bad. It's 26, see? Not for me. Only 20 for me, or at least that's what Alexa said earlier. Speaking of, let me just quickly put my phone on Do Not Disturb. There we go. Because you never know. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit, at least for me. I can turn it up for you guys, though. Because now that's very quiet for you guys. Here we go. Okay, how quiet / loud is the music for you guys? Because obviously I can't hear it back. It's very quiet. Okay, I can probably turn it up a little bit then. And I'll just turn it down on my headphones. Oh no! Okay, that's not what I meant to do. I'm sorry. Oh no. I did not mean to do that. Okay. Wrong button. Okay, that's funny. I'm sorry, chat. I did not mean to put it that loud. Okay. I just saw it go bright red on my OBS, and I was like, "Oh shit! I pressed the wrong button." I'm just turning down my headphones a little bit more. Okay, there we go. So yes, we need to read a string. Now strings are actually pretty simple to read in reality. So token of a Java token type, read string. Copilot could probably do it all for me. So what is this doing? So it takes the usual start offset, blah blah blah, escape next, consume. So it consumes the first character, which is the speech marks. I don't know what they're actually called, but you know. And then whilst it has next, it gets the current char. If it's that and it's not escaping, then it consumes it and returns it as a string literal, because that means it's the end of the string. If the current is a backslash, then, and we're not escaping the next character, then we need to consume the escape code. Else we append it to the string, escape next. Yeah, that's all fine. That's actually perfectly fine. That's all we need for that. This honestly doesn't need to exist. So let's just get rid of that. Hello. I still don't know how to say your name. Hello. Soya Bim. Oh no. Hello, welcome to the stream. Someday I'll figure out how to say your name, but it might take me a while. Because I have a terrible memory when it comes to names. Like, names are actually the thing I am the worst at remembering. Here we go. Read text block. This should be fine as well. So all this has to do is take into account new lines. How is it doing that? Current is equal new line, or current is equal \r. Then we do new line. Does new line consume that for us? No. So let's go consume. And then this is a text block literal. And we do have a little bit of an issue here. I don't know why it's trying to do that, admittedly. There you go. That's unterminated, that's unterminated. That's fine. That should be fine. Can I be made No, I'm not making you moderator. How is your read string so complicated? It's not that complicated, really. It just consumes, and then while it has the next character, it gets the character. If it's the end of a string, and it's not an escape code, then it consumes it and returns it. If it's a backslash, and it's not an escape code, then it consumes it and consumes the escape code. Like, you can't shorten this. While peak is not equal, and it's not a line advanced, if it's an end. Yeah, well, that doesn't take into account escape codes, man. And the JLS, I keep saying JLS. I don't think that's what it is it? No, it is JLS. The Java language specification says that in the Lexer you have to account for escape codes. So that's what we have to do, which is why we have all the rest. Otherwise, yes, it would be very simple. Speaking of, I'm going to bring a few things up onto my other monitor so that we can go through them. So, for example, my language, I'm going to bring up, because we're going to do the parser shortly. But I think we're done with the Lexer, right, though? We have an error here somewhere. Yeah, this little bugger. So Lexer, I'm just going to quickly go through and see if I think I've missed anything that I have in here. Okay, everything looks fine. I think everything's fine. How is it going to be different from other IDE? It's complicated. It's the simple answer to that. The more complex answer to that is, effectively, we're going to have a lot of features that will be useful specifically for Minecraft modding. So, for example, we're going to have a built-in texture editor. We're going to have a built-in model editor. We're going to have built-in structure editors and an audio editor, maybe? I'm not sure about editor, but there will definitely at least be a visualizer for audio. What else? Yes, built-in screen / GUI editor. Yes, that is one thing we want to do. And then, like, we're gonna have obviously the ability to create JSON files and stuff. Admittedly, that's kind of redundant nowadays because of data gen, but I guess it's nice to have anyways, right? I mean, there's a bunch of other things we could come up with, right? And we can do those kind of when we get around to it. So, I mean, if anyone has any ideas, obviously feel free to put them in the Discord. And, you know, shortly I am going to go ahead and actually add all of these ideas to the GitHub. But I haven't got around to actually doing that yet. Do you already have a design for the IDE or not yet? Yes, we do. And actually, now that this compiles, I can show you. We've been waiting a while to get this to be able to compile, but now that it does compile, I can show you it. So right now, I will warn you, in terms of like what it visually looks like, it doesn't look great. And that's because we need a designer. But we don't have one yet, so it has just been me coming up with mediocre styles. You'll see that pretty much immediately. Is this from scratch or is it based off a fork? No, this is completely from scratch. The entire thing is from scratch. Hello? Oh, yes, of course, this needs the project. I forgot that I changed this. How did this work last time? I don't know. You mean AI making this out? Sure, but I guided it a lot. I told it what I want it to look like, and it did the CSS for me. Okay, we gotta fix this real quick. This should be doable. I'm hoping... Okay. Okay, we're here. So, project... God, I missed yesterday's fast food. If you guys want to start another debate, feel free, but you have to come up with something. We don't actually have access to the project here. That's a problem. For now, I'm just going to put null. To do replace null with actual project. I have to come back to that and fix that, but that's going to be a pain in the butt to do because this doesn't have access to that, so that'll be a whole thing. Actually, let's have a quick look if we can fix this, because if we can, that would be great. Which we can, that's fine. We can actually just pass it straight into here. Project. Private final project. I think it's this one. Just.project is equal project, and then this.project. Not this dot, because that's gonna probably break things. Okay, now we should be able to run it. And I can show you guys. I'm going to turn my fan down a weeny bit. Bit too powerful at the moment. No, right, I've turned it down to a 1. Okay, oh, what has happened to the font? I forgot I did do that, didn't I? This is not what the font usually looks like, guys. One sec. I can fix this in a quick second, because we were helping a guy on the Discord. I mean, actually, what we can do is we can do JetBrains mono. Like that. That's just priority. So this one will go first. If that one doesn't exist, it'll go this one, then it'll go this one, then it goes this one, then this one. So that will do that. Hey, will it work on Linux? Yes, it does work on Linux. At least that's the theory. I don't think anyone's actually tested it yet, but in theory, it should work on Linux. Yes. Yeah, here you go. So this is what it usually looks like. And yeah, we have kind of everything you would expect to have, I guess. It worked as I did coding for this, and I coded in it. Well, there you go, guys. It works on Linux. I mean, there's no reason why it wouldn't. JavaFX does work on Linux, so there could be a few niches here and there that won't work on Linux. For example, the Discord rich presence. Last time I tried that, it didn't work. However, that's a plugin anyways, so you'd have to install the plugin to have that. Anyways, I can open a project as you would expect. If we just give it a second, because we don't have a loading screen. Will it support legacy modding version like 1.12 and 1.7.10? Maybe. Maybe. If we do, that will be a later along the line thing, because we'll have to create templates for all of that. Obviously, if someone wants to come along and add support for something like that, that's perfectly fine. Right? But yeah. And here is the actual like IDE itself. So once again, as I said, styles are not my strong suit. So once again, I'm going to say it again. If you're a designer, please hit me up. Yeah, also this is just the welcome screen, and then you can open a file. So, oh, who's messaging me? Someone's getting past my do not disturb. Okay, that's fine. I can deal with that later. Okay. It looks decent. Yeah, I don't think it looks bad. But if you look closer, there are inconsistencies, is what I will say. Like, for example, even just the menu bar, right? You can see there's no gap at all between the arrow and the text. There needs to be a gap. In this window right here, this part's rounded, which is weird because this is a 90-degree angle. And then you've got things like these being rounded in that bottom left corner. You can see there's a tiny wincy little triangle down there. It's things like that, and they all kind of come together to make it not look great. The best part is when you open two files and the second one replaces the Project Explorer pane. I think it does do that, yes. If I open a class here... Oh, what has happened to this guy? Bro, what's happened to the error thing? That's got to be a font thing with what I just added, doesn't it? Anyways, once again, work in progress. If you open two files, let's see what it does do. Yeah, so it does replace the Project Explorer pane. I don't know why it does that, admittedly, because I'm pretty sure I told it... I thought I told it to look for like a text editor pane, but I guess it didn't work or something. But are you planning to redesign color and panels maybe in the future? Yes, but we need a designer, so not right now. How does the syntax highlighting work here? It's complicated. Basically, it takes the Java file, and it passes the Java file, and it goes through, and it will say, okay, this is a public modifier, so we'll assign this to that color, and then you know, it does that for the whole thing. The plan is to implement themes as well. We already have themes. I think I've told you this like 50 million times. But yes, we have themes. So you can go appearance, you can select your theme, you know, Dracula, you know, default dark. Default dark actually looks the best, I would say, maybe. I don't know. You've obviously got light themes, but no one likes a light theme. The light themes also have some bugs in some places, but you know, we have a lot of themes in here. And then obviously you can preview the theme, you can download more themes, that kind of thing. It's the component.css file that needs to be changed. That is correct, yes. Basically everything you see that's buggy isn't due to the themes themselves. It's the like core CSS file. Is the font hard-coded? No, the font is not hard-coded. It's just done by the theme. Why do people work in Java? Is as verbose as C++ but less powerful. Go down to C++ or up to JavaScript or Python. Java has no purpose. That is a very interesting and uneducated take. Java is you know, used in like a large portion of the industry, in the software development industry. I would probably give like 70% of the industry uses Java, including, you know, the big companies. I wouldn't say it's as verbose as C++ though. That's also incorrect, because C++ isn't that verbose. And also nowadays it kind of like the whole thing of like it's not as powerful as C++ is kind of not actually true anymore. With it being like JIT'd and stuff. I think it's also AOT'd. I think nowadays it's AOT'd depending on the compiler, and then also the garbage collectors are much better than they used to be. Used by 3 million machines. That's also self-working. That is true. It is indeed used by at least 3 million machines. But also saying go up to JavaScript or Python is a crazy thing to say. Imagine writing an IDE in Python. Can you imagine that? You definitely can't imagine that, because that just wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't work. Let's not forget Android, which is programmed mainly in Kotlin or Java. That's true. It is, yes. Usually. Not always. Nowadays, it's actually kind of not. Nowadays, most people are going to React Native, which would be HTML, CSS, whatever. But, you know. But yeah, most big companies are using Java. Like Google, Amazon, Netflix. Who else is using Java? I think all of the FAANG companies are using Java. All of them. What's the opinion on Kotlin? I personally don't like Kotlin. But like, you know. To each their own, you know? Some people might like it, some people might not. But either way, Java makes the most sense for this project, right? Because it's for Minecraft modding, right? So we have the best ecosystem there is for like Gradle, Maven, Java itself, of course, Kotlin. You know, we have the best ecosystem for that. And because obviously it's for Minecraft modding, it's useful when Minecraft modders who know Java can help out develop the IDE, right? That's, you know, that's kind of a very important thing. Anyways, we're done with the Lexer, which is the important thing of the stream. How would you start the game? I didn't see the button. We have not implemented that yet. Mainly because that's kind of... I mean, it's not actually too complex to do, in theory, right? Because it's just taking the, you know, Gradle tasks, which I'm pretty sure you can just use, like, Gradle.get tasks or something. Like, that's not hard to do, but that's all doable, in theory. What's the license of this project? I don't know. Let me have a look. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I think it's GPL 3.0. That is the license of the project. So a pretty open license. Python is a good language. When I'm starting a new project, I'm usually choosing between Python, TypeScript, Go, and Zig. But if you're learning programming, honestly, go with whatever you want to do. Yeah, I agree. I think if you're new to program, well, to be honest, even if you're not new to programming, I say just go with whatever you want, right? I think, like, there is some extent of, like, this language is better for this thing, right? But then there's also go with whatever you're comfortable with, right? If you're most comfortable with, you know, I don't know, whatever, then you should just use that. Python has a purpose. It's meant to be easy, and it is. Java, I think, was actually made to be easy. I wouldn't say Java is made to be easy. I would actually very strongly disagree with that. I think it's made to be... There's a difference between easy and intuitive. I think Java is made to be intuitive. I wouldn't say it's made to be easy. Okay, anyways, guys. We're getting distracted. We need to create the parser. I'm trying to find my parser class because apparently I friggin' closed it. What is an SST? An SST is... I have forgotten what it stands for. 1 second. I have it in my notes. It's a semantic syntax tree. That's it. So basically an AST, but with semantics. That's all it is. Why are you writing Lexer and Parser though? Wasn't that that big Lexer Parser generator program in Java? I assume you are thinking of JFlex, which is a lexical analyzer, so just a Lexer. But I don't think that's made for Java. It's made in Java. Oh, never mind. It is actually made for Java. You also have like tree sitter as well, and then you also have you've got like Java Parser, and there's a couple more as well. But they all have problems, or not necessarily problems, but there's compromises. whichever one you go with. What did I call the... Oh, I just called it Lexer. I see. Parser. But, I mean, the point of this isn't really Java CC. That might also be the one. What's important is what made you write your own parser, because the existing ones do not suffice. They all have things that make them not so suitable. For example, that might be not supporting incremental parsing, or that might be just general speed, right? The Java compiler itself is slow. It might be whether it supports some level of semantics that we would need. That kind of thing. And from what I found, all of the ones that exist just don't have what we need in terms of that. So yeah, that's why. Plus, at the end of the day, it's a fun thing to work on, you know. But there's no way passing a source code file in 1,000 lines of code should ever be a bottleneck on a reasonably modern machine. Okay, consider this: the default Java compiler would take 3.8 seconds to parse that file, roughly, right? And that has zero support for incremental parsing. So every single time you make a change, that's 3.8 seconds. You know, we're talking. I say 3.8. That was on my machine. It varied every single time I ran it, of course. It's not going to be exactly 3.8 every single time. It was between 3 and 4 seconds. And that wasn't even 1,000 lines of code. That was... I think that was 100 lines of code. I think. No, it might have been a little bit bigger than that. It might have been about 300. I don't know the exact number, if I'm being honest. But the fact is, it was too slow. You could visibly see the lag in it. So, you know, that was not a viable option. What is this? This is the token queue, or yeah, token queue. And then we need a private token key. Current token. Need. That's probably fine actually, for now. No, we've just called it a parser. We could call it an abstract parser. I didn't create any abstraction in mine. Java syntax is not even difficult to parse. It's quite explicit and has semicolons and shit. Semicolons don't really change anything in terms of how hard it is in reality. And then they obviously make it a little bit harder if you don't have them, but semicolons reduce need to look ahead. That's true, but the thing is, you're still going to have to look ahead. Think, for example, lambdas. You would have to look ahead there, or really method references. So we want to parse, which throws a... No, we don't want to parse. We don't want to throw a parse exception. Because we have our diagnostics. So we're going to go... public. Yep, that will do. We need to make this unmodifiable though, so collections dot unmodifiable list. And actually an easier thing to do here would just be list.copy of, because that would be unmodifiable. And then we need trying to think what's the best thing to do next. I've once again closed my one, which I need to bring back up. How's your day, Tursi? My day has been pretty good, actually. I've done, as you can see, almost 6 hours of programming today. Which is kind of crazy. I don't really know how I've managed that. But yeah, kind of crazy. Writing a parser in AST is quite a fun exercise though, much more fun than Lexer. I agree, it is much more fun than Alexa. Alexa is very simple. The thing with parsers is it's hard to do them efficiently, is what I would say. Like, I can probably write a parser. I don't know how efficiently I can write a parser. Because the one I did for my my final year project at university, I didn't have to worry about how fast or slow it was. So I didn't aim for something that was extremely fast. What am I doing? I was just about to Google something. I don't know what I was gonna Google. Not sure. Anyways, I need to see what kind of like normal common methods we're gonna have. I mean, what it could be worth doing for the parser, at least as we start, could be worth following the Crafting Interpreters book. I don't know if you guys know of that book. But it's pretty good, at least for a start. It's pretty good. I'm just trying to see. Okay, yeah, we're going to want a couple methods. So we're going to want to first get a peek method, right? So we need a way to obviously peek forward. So we'll do protected token of t. Peak int offset what is this? What is this? What has Copilot just done, bro? Admittedly, it doesn't even really need to be a queue. If we're being honest, like, I feel like that just overcomplicates the entire thing. It can really just be a new array list. And then do tokens like that. There you go. That just simplifies that entire thing for us there. And then that just means that here, this peak method becomes so incredibly much simpler. We can just do return that. What has been your favorite thing to develop within Railroads so far? That's a good question, you know, Wide. What did I enjoy the most? Probably actually the plugin system. It was actually very fun to develop the plugin system because it's something I hadn't really done before in terms of like having that, you know, dynamic kind of code loading and stuff. And then also writing the plugin API. And then actually writing the plugins themselves as well, because it was cool to use an API which I completely developed from scratch. That was pretty fun. So that's definitely one of the most fun things. And I had quite a lot of fun with the project creation as well, but unfortunately that's going to be... yeah. We need to redo that entire thing, so... so protected token T peak, and then we just want to do peak 0. We want a way to know if we're at the end, so a private boolean is at end, which will return peak dot type is equal to token type Java token type dot EOF, which means it's the end of the file. Is there anything you're looking forward to doing in particular? Honestly, quite a lot of things. There's a lot of things I really want to do, but are requiring a lot before we can do them. For example, this is like a very important part of the IDE. This is going to be a backbone of everything, right? So we need to get this right. And a lot of things are relying on this, right? Like a significant number of features in the IDE are relying on this. I think honestly, being able to like run the code, I'm actually quite excited for that, because I think that'll be fun to do. It's not going to be easy, but it shouldn't be too hard to do either. So I think it'll be a fun thing to do. What is current token? Why did I make that? I don't know. I completely forgot, to be honest. We don't need that though, right? We just need a private int current. We need yeah, we're gonna want some other stuff as well, but we can come back to the other stuff. And then we just do current ++. Yeah, I think run configs and stuff will be quite fun to get that to work. And then I'm quite excited, honestly, for like, I guess just like, honestly, semantic analysis. So I'm thinking, for example, like you write your mod ID and it tells you like, hey, this mod ID is too short, or it could be too short, right? So something that's not a compile error, right? The compiler itself isn't going to be able to tell you that. But yeah, like we're going to be able to... What am I doing here? 1 second, I'm a little bit lost. No, we want the previous. And this needs to return a token. But yeah, being able to have, I think, all of these, I think I'm going to call them inspections. I think that's actually what they are called as well. will be quite fun to do, because there's going to be so many different things that we can do which are specific to modding, right? So many things that like IntelliJ would never implement because it's specific to Minecraft modding, right? Mix-ins as well. I want to have good, proper mix-in support, right? So something like, for example, inlining mix-ins, right? So, you know, for example, with a mix-in, you inject into the code, right? I think it would be cool if the IDE could actually show you when you look at the source code, like, hey, there's a mix-in here, and it shows you what the mix-in's actually added. I think something like that would be really cool. And I think that would be a game changer for a lot of people as well. So that's kind of definitely one of the things that I'm quite excited to do. This is fine. Honestly, I think I'm overcomplicating a lot of these. It doesn't need to do all of these checks because it's kind of those are going to be done within the code. So this is like, for example, this is going to be current plus offset, and this one doesn't really need this if check. That can just be current negative offsets. And we are going to want another previous method as well, so we're going to want to return previous one. Maybe something that says you misspelled your mod ID item ID too. Yeah, that would also be one of the inspections that I think it'd be good to have as well. We're going to want a kind of check function as well. Now, honestly, I'm going to copy these ones in from my parser, and we just need to change some of these. So like that needs to be T, 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 that's T, that's T, T, T. This is a predicate or a predicate, however you want to say it. I don't know what the official name of that would be, but that's will do. And then we need a way to consume as well, but we also need a way to throw an error. So we can do, and I need to make these protected as well. Very important that these are protected, because otherwise those will not be accessible in the actual class that extends this one. We also want to do an error, so we can do a protected void add diagnostic like that. It might be nice to say, no, I think that's fine actually. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And then we're going to want to consume methods as well, which I have here. So protected and protected. Don't forget protection, guys. Very important. Token of T. There we go. And then this is complaining because we've just called it add diagnostic. So say protected void add diagnostic, which will take it. Oh, that needs to be generic as well. This is complaining because that needs to be saved varargs. There we go. Why is this complaining? Because that needs to be saved varargs. Anything else need to be saved varargs? No. Yes, what I wanted here was just a token of T and a string message as well. So, like that. Let's just do objects.require non-null for both of those, though. This originally threw an exception or an error. I don't think it needs to do that. Or does it? It might need to, yeah. In that case, I will return a parse diagnostic. Diagnostic. That is the parse diagnostic, and then it just returns parse diagnostic. We're gonna need to create this class in a second because it's getting on my nerves. And then I have a synchronize method in here, but I honestly don't think I actually use it. I'm just going to quickly go through and have a look. Okay. Anyways, I think we can move on from this now. Let's just create this parse diagnostic class real quick, and then we'll go from there. So let me quickly have a look. Create a new class, parse diagnostic. We'll say this is an exception. Oh, I will be right back, chat. 1 second. Right, chat, I am back. I really need a be right back screen, don't I? Rather than saying starting soon. But yeah, okay. Let's just do a public. Sure. We'll create a couple constructors. I don't think we actually care about that. That's fine. Okay. That's all good. Okay. Get tokens is complaining because it's never populated. Is it not? When is tokens meant to be populated? That's a great question. It should really be populated in the constructor, right? So that takes in the Lexer like that, but I'm wondering, is that really what it should do? Like, it shouldn't Lex it as it passes it, right? So really, this should just take in a list of token of T, which is the tokens. And then do that. I'll say this dot tokens is equal that like that. There you go. We'll make this protected as well, I guess. Why not? We'll make this protected as well. Do you fuck with magic stars? Honestly, I haven't had them in years. I couldn't even tell you the last time I had them, to be honest. I think they were good, but I honestly... It's been so long that I don't even remember. To be honest. So, yeah. Okay, I'm just looking at what ChatGPT gave me, because it gave me, when I asked last time, it gave me a parser as well, an abstract parser class, but it seems to have added so much, I feel like, unnecessary stuff in it. Like, I can show you guys what it's given me, actually. Can I? Or is this gonna... I don't want it to show some things. Let me see if I can get it to show it without showing what I don't want it to show. Yes, there you go, I can. So here you go. So it's given me like the usual stuff, but then it's given me this, a burst count. I don't know what that is. I'm not aware of what that is. If anyone knows, let me know. And then it's got N here, which is where I got the N from, but I honestly don't know. I don't know what the N is. Like, what is N? Should that be... Is that like a statement, I guess? Or I guess not a statement, but a like, what is N? It's got past problems, which we kind of have as diagnostics, basically the same thing. It's got LT, so basically that should just peak, I believe. I don't know what fill is, admittedly. Don't know. Create a checkpoint called commit to keep progress or roll back to rewind. Interesting. Is that something I want? Possibly. I mean, is there definitely possibly things that I would want? Like separated list, what is this? Parser separated list. But my question is just like, why? Does this really need to exist? And then you got like parse primary, precedent, make binary. Like, I don't know that these need to necessarily exist as like as abstract methods. If channel is equal trivia, continue. Is the n a parameter? N, at least from what I understand, is... It might actually tell me at the very bottom. Yeah, so n is basically a node, right? So here it's representing an AST node. It says it's Pratt style expression parsing. Let's Google. Okay, so Pratt style is... I don't know. I don't know. I feel like, it's funny because I literally did a programming language as my friggin' final year project at university. But I've forgotten, like, all of the terms that he used, like recursive descent. I don't remember exactly what that was. I know it's kind of like, as you would suggest, it recursively descends down, right? Okay, we could do this. We could probably do it how ChatGPT does it, because I think the reason it's doing this is so that it can skip the trivia tokens, right? I don't entirely know what it's done with like this burst thing, but I'm guessing it's something to do with like you reach a certain amount of errors, and then it has to figure out from there how to go back to what it should be. I think basically we kind of want what it's done there. Compared with everything, really. So that would mean not having the tokens like this, which I literally just added, but oh well. It means quite literally having the Lexer, the diagnostics, and then having an array EQ of token of T, which is the look ahead buffer. And then it has the private token T previous. Then it has a private final int max error burst. Still don't entirely understand this. Do understand this. and then private int burst count. And then we still have our parse method. We still have our get diagnostics. But like everything else is kind of different when we're doing it like this, because we're not using an integer index or anything. So we have like a protected token of t, which is look ahead of int n, and then oh, I see what fill does. Okay, so fill fills the look ahead buffer, getting rid of the trivia tokens. See, what I did in my Lexer was I just didn't tokenize trivia tokens, so comments, white space, I just ignored them. But since we're taking them into account here, we do actually need to do this, right? So obviously that makes sense, right? We want to get rid of it if it's not, if it's less than 0. Then basically we fill, I'm going to call this fill buffer by n, and then return the look ahead buffer.stream, and we're skipping it by n-1, and then we're finding the first element, and then we say or else get. So if it can't find one, then that means we're at the end of the file, so we go this EOF. That makes sense, actually, in terms of when you have a look ahead buffer. It makes sense to fill that buffer without the trivia tokens, because otherwise when you're parsing it, you'd have to take into account the trivia tokens every single time, which would be a pain in the butt. So now we can do, for example, protected t look ahead type, which basically says we get the type of the next one. Then we can do protected token of t current will return look ahead 1, and then previous returns our previous token. Then we say protected boolean is at end, which just looks ahead and see if it's EOF. Now that's fine, but we can also say or look ahead dot flags dot contains token flag dot EOF, which just like, and that's probably actually a better thing to do than this, but that's fine. And then we can do protected token of t advance, which will fill buffer of 1. It will set the previous token to be look ahead buffer is empty, then it's EOF, or it removes the first one. After the parser, what's next? So after the parser, we have to do semantic analysis, which means saying, for example, like for example, if I do here int my number is equal 0, semantic analysis would be telling me, hey, this variable is never used, right? So that kind of thing is semantic analysis. So that's what we do after we've done this, but this is going to take us a while because we've got to also be able to generate the AST and stuff. So we've got protected boolean match, which will take in a t type, which will say if look ahead of 1 is equal t, and this actually is look ahead type. Then what we do is we advance, return true, else we return false. And then we have protected boolean, no, not boolean, protected t match any. Yeah, so in here, what we want to do is say t, you like t? That's good, because we have a lot of t. We need to look ahead, so look ahead type is equal look ahead type, right? And then, so basically 4 types, if the type is equal to the look ahead type, then we advance and return it, and else we return null. We need an expect function, so basically saying we're expecting this type to come next, right? So protected final token of t expect t expected type, and then we'll have a string message if missing. Sure, thank you, Copilot. Here we just want to say if the look ahead type of 1 is equal our expected type, then we're just going to return the advanced since it's right there. Else we can report an error, so report error at the current token, and we need to use the message if missing. ChatGPT is actually giving me a little thing here that might help. I don't have to write that out. Expected type. So that reports our error. And then after we've reported the error, we can return we're going to want some kind of missing token. We want a way to say that it's missing, right? We don't want to like throw an error or like break it, because we need some kind of error recovery system later on. Okay, for now we'll just return a new missing token. And we'll kind of come back to that, I think. So that'll be expected type and then current dot position. We'll just pass in the current actually, and we can figure out the rest from there. In fact, I will create that now. Record missing token, which is just going to take in line, column, pause. Don't want that, don't want that. and this is just gonna, I think, let me look at simple token again. Yeah, that's fine. We can just implement the methods. I wonder. Yeah, so that can just be that. Start offset can be pause. End offset can be the end, which I think is just the start, right? The channel can be token channel.default, and then the flags, we don't want any flags, so we're just going to use this. So basically an empty set. And then we got some kind of toString so we can actually read this back. So we'll just say return missing. There you go. Do like this. Oops. Not like that, like that. There you go. Okay, can you fix yourself, please? Use an F string. I could, I guess. Sure. Oh my god, stop. Comma L colon, no, percentage S bracket dot formatted type pause line column. There you go. Is that correct? Missing. No, I've done that wrong. I wanted it to be like this. Missing percentage S, and then in brackets that stuff. So type. Oh no. That was fine. This one was fine because that was the pause. Yeah. So then type is this one, pause, this one, line, this one, column, this one. That's fine. And that's complaining. Let's just add a overloaded constructor for that one. So that will be the T type. And then current is a token. Does that need to be a token of T? I think it does, yes. There you go. Okay. Nice. So that's our expect method. Then we want another one, which will basically be the same as this one. This needs to be safe for Rx, doesn't it? Yes, because otherwise that's going to complain at me. Protected. Yeah, that made it fine. Or that's what I thought. So token T expect any, which will be a string message if missing, and then it will be T ... expected types. So we get the match type. No, we don't want that because that's exactly the friggin' same. So we want T found is equal look ahead type of 1, and then for expected type in expected types, if found is equal to the expected type, then we advance, else we say basically the same thing. So we report an error and we say expected one of arrays.toString. So that's readable. Don't care about saying here, that's silly. Expected one of those, and then we just go ahead and return dot length is greater than 0, then expected types 0, or we'll just say found. That should be like that though. There we go. Save fireworks. Okay, then we have this marker stuff. I'm gonna add it just because I think ChatGPT probably knows a little more what it's talking about with this marker stuff than I do. So we'll try this. That is not that. That is that. That is that. This is marker. Marker. And then, yeah, we'll come back to this in a second. Because I don't entirely know what this is all about. I kind of get it, but I don't entirely get it. So I'd like to get it a little bit more. Diagnostics. This is a what did I call it? Parse diagnostic, didn't I? A new parse diagnostic. You know, probably what it's done is actually better. I'm saying like, hey, that's an error in there. This offset, this line, this column. This, by the way, should not be called an offset. This needs to be called the pos. Oh, it didn't like that. Why didn't it like that? Well, hide renamed record component. No, it won't. Will it? Because that's still that's the pos. That's fine. That's fine. I just don't need that. Okay, fantastic. That's fine, and then that's fine as well. Okay. Perfect. So that's a little bit easier to read now. It's got another one here. So this is look ahead type. And then I don't know what start sync boundary is. It's got a little comment here for us though. Override to define language-specific sync boundaries, e.g. after semicolons or closing braces. Interesting. I'll write some Java docs for all of this in a second, because I'm not completely sure what everything is. So it'd be better to have Java docs, so if we come back to it, we do know what everything is, right? Okay. Hate me some Java. Why do you hate Java docs? Why? They're very important. And very useful. I don't know how you can hate Java docs. Marker. Anything else that's done here that's weird? Because you're feeling hateful. Okay, right. I will leave you to feel hateful. Right. So then it has this. It has precedence. It has make binary. There you go. And then it has parse expression. Look ahead. Type. So what's this stuff? Not sure. We'll come back to it. And then we need our fill method as well, which we called fill buffer. Then this is look ahead buffer. Look ahead buffer. This is the token. This is going to be N. I think it would be better because that just makes more sense. Yeah, that's fine. EOF we need as well. Missing token, that's fine. Get rid of that. Okay, and then it has a very weird method, which is shrink problems. Diagnostics, diagnostics, diagnostics. Yeah, I was going to say that can just be removed last. Pretty simple. Okay, and now it has the marker thing, so this is what it's got here. So snapshot, yeah, not state. This is the Lex snapshot. Gotta have Lex in the stream. He seems to appear every single time nowadays. And then this is the previous token. This is the snapshot. And then the only other thing it has is this, which I can get rid of the parse diagnostic and just rename this to parse diagnostic. Okay, we have some errors still. So this is the look ahead buffer. This is the previous token. This I called report error. Likewise, this would be report error at. This it doesn't like because I don't know why. Oh, because this needs to be report error at. That's why it's complaining. Likewise, this is also report error act. Okay. Let's go through and write some Java docs. So, we'll start with the constructor. Pretty simple. Pass method. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. That's not correct. That's fine, but we don't need to state that because we can just have a throws at the end. There you go. Returns the type of the nth token ahead in the stream. That's fine. Where's look ahead defined? Oh, literally right there. That's fine. That won't always be one. That's the current. That's the previous. This determines if it's at the end. This advances. Matches. Copilot can probably do most of these. Yep, that's fine. I'm only kind of skimming these, but if they look kind of somewhat correct, then it's probably fine. What's this one? That looks fine. Report error. Report error, that's fine. Synchronize. Okay, there you go. Does that go over the... Nope, that's fine. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I didn't like this one. There you go. And then that one. This is pretty simple, that one. This doesn't throw anything. Nope, that's fine. Fills the look ahead buffer. Yep, that's correct. That is what it does. It returns an EOF token. That's fine. How do you end not like that? Yeah, that one. I'll make this one protected as well. This is complaining because that can be a record. Parser is private, converting to a record. We'll make the that's fine. It's kind of not really an issue, is it? Okay, and then is that gonna... No, because for that I need to have... Just need to do public like that. We need to do objects. No, oh my god, objects. Dot require non-null, require non-null. That's not correct. There you go. There you go. That just solves those. Then we have error. No, that's not correct. There you go. That's the same. Not null, sure, whatever, that's perfectly fine. Oh, this uses at, so that's probably actually better than what I had before. Anyways. Which I deleted, didn't I? Yeah, I think so. What is this, by the way? Oh, that's fine, because this is just, yeah. That's all good. Okay. Okay. That's everything completely Java docked up. Let's create the actual parser then, I guess. Oh, actually, I am missing a few, which I might want. I don't know why they're at the very end. Let's put them in the correct place. Look at type. Because of the specified types. And then types. Okay. I don't like this not being like that, because that's weird. And then that's fine, but let's call this predicate or predicate. Like that, and then perfect. Okay, that should be pretty much everything we need for it to be abstract enough. Let's implement the methods, which is just parse, and then obviously the constructor as well. So this takes in a parser. This will be a Java token type. And then also we're going to want an AST node, which we don't have right now. But we'll come back to that one. And then that just makes the Lexer of a Java token type, like that. And then parsing, it returns an AST node. Okay. I've once again somehow managed to lose mine. I'm so bad at this, man. Okay, so what I had when I wrote this is I wrote my own class to print out the AST. So you can see here I have an AST printer, and basically that writes it for me. So am I in the right branch? No, not this. This isn't what I'm looking for. I'm looking for AST generator. That's it. So I just generate all of the classes. So I have expressions and I have statements, and then effectively I can just create those in here. So these are all the expressions, these are all the statements, and then it basically defines everything that each of these has. I probably just want the same thing. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I probably won't use a generator for these ones. Just because I found that doing that made it a pain in the butt. To be honest. So I would just rather not. Yeah, and instead this gives me a statement. Or, well, I guess AST node, sure. Let me get once again Copilot to give me kind of a generic AST node class. I mean, I can kind of look at the statement class I have, which is this one. And you can kind of see the actual generic class itself is very basic, right? It just has an abstract method that accepts a visitor, which is fine. As like for what I had. Let me ask it. But it's not going to suffice, probably, for what we want. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. So, it's given me one that's a lot more than what I had. Let's just say that. So if we go in here, we can have an AST node, which is an abstract class. And this has a private final AST kind, which makes sense. Then you have a private final int start and private final int line column. Yes, I know I could merge these two, but I prefer to keep them separate because they're kind of like separate things in my opinion. And then we just have a list of AST nodes, which are the children, because obviously it's a tree structure, right? So each one has to have a list of children, which would be like the leaves, I guess. So yeah, then we have a constructor, so AST node, which takes in all of these like that. Can probably just pass the children in here and then say that this is a nullable argument. We can say this is a not null argument, but we can do objects.nonnull. Not non-null, require non-null, there you go. And then this of children is equal that. So it's not null, then it's children, else it's just a new array list, which is fine. And then we just want all of our methods like that. So we have start, end, start, end, and this feels so much like a record right now, but we can't make it a record because it's abstract. So average Java moment, but here we are. So let's do that. It might be worth using Lombok actually. No, I kind of prefer it being like kind rather than get kind. So I'm just going to keep it like this. That's fine. And then we want a visitor, of course, which is what I had in mine. So that's just AST visitor. That's fairly simple. ToString as well. That's fine. And then we have the actual nodes themselves. So let's create the kind. So AST kind. This is an enum, of course. So yeah, you can see Copilot's kind of on the right lines here. So you've got program, module, package. That's kind of what we're having, but since this is Java, we have a compilation unit. Then we would have class declaration, method declaration, field declaration, variable declaration, etc., etc. It's probably going to be able to do most of these for me. Oh, I keep accidentally pressing tab before I press tab after I press. Oh, I don't know. Okay, we'll leave these ones out because it might be slightly off the ball now. So we got literal expression. I don't really know what that means. I think unary expression is probably the last one we want for now, before it goes completely haywire. I'm just gonna get ChatGPT to give me the list of AST kinds from the JLS 24 specification. Okay. So according to this, we need to change this a little bit immediately. So compilation unit is fine. Let's have I'm gonna put here like program structure, I guess. It's not like that, but what did I miss? You didn't miss much, to be honest. We've just been filling out the generic abstract parser class, which is this big pile of rubbish. It's not rubbish, but yeah, that big pile of stuff. Now we're just coming up with all the AST kinds that there are. So we have compilation unit, we have package declarations, we have import declarations, then we have module declarations. Now, at some point, we're going to need a way to define, like, hey, this is from this Java version. I don't know how we're going to do that. I don't know. We'll come back to that. This is Java 9 Plus. Or really, the next couple would be Java 9 Plus. So we'll say Java 9 Plus program structure. So we have module declaration. Then we have require directive. Or it's actually requires, isn't it? Pretty sure it's requires. Right? Yeah, it is. It's definitely requires. Then it's exports, opens, uses, provides. Then we have declarations. So we have the class declaration. Then we have under that we have like a normal class declaration. We have an interface declaration. We have an enum declaration. Then we have a record declaration, which is Java 14? That's not right. I don't think. Is it? When did records release? I thought it was Java 16. When did records release in Java? They were first introduced as a preview feature in Java 14, but they were released as production ready in Java 16. So would we mark that as Java 14 or Java 16? I'm going to say Java 14 preview, Java 16 standard. There we go. Yeah, so here we have class declarations. Then we have interface ones, right? So we have interface declarations. So we have interface declaration, then we have normal interface declaration and annotation type declaration. And we also have enums, right? Yeah, as it said. ChatGPT hasn't listed enums, which is a little bit concerning to me. Oh, it's listed that as a member rather than. Oh yeah, this should also not be there, by the way. Oh, I see, because we've got enum declaration there. That's fine then. Then we have member declarations. So we have fields, we have methods, we have constructors, we have the Java, we have the records constructor. So those are called compact constructor declaration, which I assume are also going to be 14 preview, 16 standard. I'm going to put in here records so that I know what those are. Then we have initializer block. So initializer block. Then we have static initializer block, and we have instance initializer block. I'm going to keep those two separate like that. And then we also have enum constant declaration and annotation type member declaration. Hi, is this the first time Minecraft modding IDE which you're developing? Yes, this is the first. Well, I don't entirely know what you mean. But I assume you mean, is this the first Minecraft modding IDE? In which case, yes, it is. Unless you, well, I guess you could kind of count MC Creator, but it's not really. It's hard to classify that as an IDE. Technically it is, but it's you know, you're kind of stretching it if you consider it that. So yes, it is. So yeah. We have expression statements, we have if statements, we have switch statements, we have switch expressions. So this says Java 12 as preview. Let's check. When did switch expressions release in Java? 12 as a preview, refined in 13, standardized in 14. So I'm going to say 12 preview Java and then 14 standard. That's fine. Copilot seems to know better than ChatGPT, because ChatGPT just says Java. I guess it's technically correct, but yeah, that's fine. And then we have while statements, we have do while statements, we have for statements, and then we have a basic for statement. That's not Java 14. And then we have enhanced for statement. Then we have break. Then we have continue. What's the difference between statement and expression? So expressions are like I mean, you can kind of see what they are, right? So if you look at in fact, let me try and give you a better example. So an expression, for example, would be like an assignment, right? So say, for example, so this right here, this whole line, this is a statement, right? But inside of this statement, we have expressions. So we have this expression right here. Then we have this expression here, which is like kind of this whole thing anyways, but like this, wait, no, this wouldn't be a statement, would it? Wait, am I wrong? No, so this wouldn't be a statement. But what would be a statement would be this, right? So this block right here, this would be a statement. And then in here, there's a bunch of expressions, right? So this is an expression. It's a... probably... it could be... It could be... You have lots, really, because this would be an identifier expression. This would be a... the other one. And then, like, this would be an expression. This would be an expression because of the ternary. And this would be an identifier expression. This would be an expression. I don't know. I haven't actually done ternaries yet, so... and then this would be a bunch of expressions and stuff, because this is quite complex, this single bit here. By the way, I started doing Minecraft modding a year ago, but left in between because I started to get confused and thought that I should learn Java more. Can you give any tips for learning Java? Because I'm relatively new to programming. I've only done somewhere between intermediate and advanced Python and basic Java. Honestly, it's really hard to give good resources. There's lots out there, but the problem is it depends on the person, right? Some people are just like better at learning in different ways. So on my Discord, if you're on the Discord, we have a link that we can give you, or a bunch of links that we can give you to different sites. I actually can't find it right now, but if you join the Discord, someone will be able to link you to that. And it gives you quite a few different sources. I would say, as my personal recommendation, I wouldn't say go for any courses or anything, unless that's how your brain works. I mean, if you're good at like following courses and online stuff, that's fine. I would personally recommend to do projects. It doesn't have to be a big project. It just has to be something that's slightly beyond your skill level, so that you have to learn to be able to do it. Whether that be, for example, maybe like a basic weather app, or a text RPG game, or making Pong, making Snake, that kind of thing is a great way to learn a language and learn just general kind of logical programming, right? That's what I would personally recommend that you do if you want to kind of learn. Yeah, just if you want to learn stuff, I guess. Yeah, that would be my recommendation. But if you want to follow courses or anything, I recommend you join the Discord, and then, yeah, we can give you a link to the thing in the whole. It's a whole paragraph of stuff. We need a yield statement. So this says it's Java 14. Let me once again have a Google and say, when did yield statements release in Java? So it was introduced in 13 as a preview and then 14 as standard. So Java 13 plus preview, Java 14 plus standard. Perfect. Okay, now we have all the expressions, of which there are many. So let's do expressions. Wait, is assignment in here? No. It needs to be in here. I don't know why assignment isn't in here. Assignment. Oh, no, assignment's an expression. What am I on about? Okay. We do apparently need, though, a local variable declaration statement. Local variable declaration statement. I don't know what that is. What is a local variable declaration statement in Java? Is that just defining a local variable? Like, is that saying like int a equals 5? Yes, it is. Okay, that's what I thought it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. We'll add, once again, we'll add Java docs to all of these at some point. Not right now though. We need to do all of these first. So first of all, we have assignments, we have conditionals, we have lambdas, which are Java 8. When did lambdas release in Java? I know they released in Java 8. Did they preview before Java 8 or no? No, they didn't. Okay. Good night, Bim. I butchered that again. I know I did. I apologize. Good night. What are you currently building in your IDE? I mean, which component? Right now we are working on the Java Parser and Lexer. So this will be used for everything, basically. So it's really the core of the IDE that we're working on. So for example, this will be like when you're writing code, like I am right now, in the text editor, it will, you know, it'll be able to syntax highlight, it'll be able to show you errors, it'll be able to show you warnings, you'll be able to have autocomplete, you'll be able to find things, so I can, not like that, but I can like find usages, I can go to implementations, that kind of thing. All of that would be handled by what I'm doing right now. So this is kind of very much the core essential part of the IDE. Like, this has to be there. So yeah, this is the essential part, right? So obviously I'm doing this for Java, but I'm going to have to do this for, you can imagine, everything else as well. We have method invocation expressions. We have object creation expressions. We have array creation expressions. We have array access expressions. We have field access expressions. We have this expression. So just saying this or just saying super are expressions. Then we have a parenthesized expression. We have a typecast expression. We have an instance of expression. Supports patterns in Java 16. When did instance of pattern matching release in Java? Preview in Java 14, refined 15, released 16. So in Java 14, preview, and Java 16 standard. I'm gonna have a way to actually like define these soon, but for now I'm just gonna add them as comments, and that'll be fine. Then we have binary expressions, so like adding numbers, minus, divide, etc, etc. That would also be like bitwise operations as well, and logical ones, so like A or B. Then we have unary expressions, which is like plus plus, minus minus, not the squiggly line as well. Then we have literal expressions. We have identifier expressions. We have qualified name expressions. We have switch expressions. Wait, did I put that up here? I did, because I'm an idiot. That needs to go down there. In Java, I would have thought you would have used inheritance. Oh, we will, don't you worry. This is just for, this is just an enum for the kind, but we are going to have the actual classes as well. I'm curious to ask, which algorithm does IDEs use for the next statement guessing? It doesn't really guess, unless you mean like Copilot, right? So Copilot doing this for me. That's just AI using machine learning. But if you mean like, for example, like if I return and say new AST node, if you mean like that, that's kind of quite complex. So that's like a whole lot of like semantic analysis. Hello chat, C++ beginner dev here. Hello, welcome to the stream. I've almost been going for 7.5 hours today. I don't feel like I've done that much today. I must have done so much that I've completely forgotten about today. Kind of crazy. I don't understand Java lol. I'm not surprised. Well, actually no. As a C++ I guess I've never looked at it that way around. I don't know. It's pretty similar syntax though, because Java is a C language, so syntactically, that you guys know the word I'm looking for. It's pretty similar in that way. But I guess they're not like yeah, we need a yield expression, which Copilot hasn't even mentioned. What is a type test expression? Chat, does anyone know what a type test expression is? Or has Copilot just made that up? Type test expression? So your IDE will have that non-AI guessing thing? Yes, it will. But it will also have the AI one as well. That will just be available as a plugin instead. What's that? Nothing important. I don't think. I don't think this is a thing. I think Copilot's made that up. This is why you can't trust Copilot. So we have the primitive types, we have array types, we have a class type, which is really a class or interface. Then we have type variable, we have intersection types, we have union types, and we have wildcard types. So these are like a lot of generic stuff here. This is not that though. This is for by union types it means, for example, when you catch an exception. So it means try, you know, blah 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 blah, and then it'll be like catch IO exception or runtime exception. Runtime exception. So this, doing this would be a union type, basically. And then I'm not sure what an intersection type would be. Intersection type Java. So that would be, for example, when you have yeah, so that'd be in generic. So when you have a generic, that would be like E extends A and B. That would be like that, I think. That's how it works, right? It's like that. And then you would have wildcard types, which I think are just question marks. I think, like when you do, for example, you know, a list of question mark. I think basically this question mark is a wildcard type. I think that's how it works, but I'm not 100% sure because these are all things I never implemented in my programming language. So, a little bit out of depth here. So I'm just going to add some comments for these ones so I know what these are. So these are saying like A and B. This is saying A or B, and then this is saying like that. And then this is saying type variables in generic, so this is saying like T this is saying, yeah, like that, and then this is saying like that, and that's saying like that. That's correct, yeah. Now, intersection types. Copilot reckons this was implemented in Java 8? Is that really true? That might be true, because Java 8 did add default methods to interfaces, didn't it? So I'm wondering if that's true. This feature has been available since Java 1.5. Ah. To look at what version some of these were introduced. We'll come back to that one. Okay, then we have... What's the next stuff? So we have modifiers. Modifiers. So we have just like normal modifier. We have annotations. Alright, good night. Doesn't India have lots of time zones? In India, or is India the country that doesn't have, that only has one, or is that China? It's either China or India that only has one time zone, right? Even though it's a massive country. It's China. I guess that makes more sense. China being, you know, China being China. Time zone. I'm curious. Images. Wait, why can I not find... Oh, because I'm not on Google, I'm on Brave. I was like, why am I not getting images? This should be a fairly common thing. But it's because I was on Brave, not Google. Open image, a new tab. China, they both have a single time zone. That's kind of crazy. Oh, right, India's 5.5. Right. That's right. I forgot India's the weird one. It has 5.5 hours plus everyone else. Apparently Afghanistan and Iran have half hours as well. I did not know that. That's interesting. But look at China, bro. Over here, you're... like, from here to here, you'd be in the same time zone, but, like, you're 4 hours behind in, like, actual time. That's crazy. Time zones are mad, man. Oh, I didn't know Australia also has a half time zone. Australia has 9.5, apparently, in the middle. That's wacky. My country's so weird, man. Using these arbitrary things. Like, why is French Polynesia on negative 9.5? Anyways, I'm distracted. Guys, you've got to not let me get distracted. Marker annotations. I don't know what a marker... It says e.g. functional interface. How is that not just normal annotation? Annotation versus marker annotation. Java. Marker interfaces and annotations in Java both serve to add message classes, blah 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 blah. Marker interface, yeah. Okay. I don't think that's a thing, man. We'll come back to these ones. Hello, Wide. Welcome back. I'm just gonna say paste as plain text. Oh, that didn't work. I'm just gonna say look into marker annotations, single element annotations, and normal annotations. Okay, there we go. Then we have miscellaneous. So we have parameters. Parameter. We have type parameter. No, what? A type parameter is just this. I'm so confused. I'm not sure. I think some of these we're probably going to end up getting rid of, depending on like whether we actually want them or not. Like a catch formal parameter. Like what the hell is that? It's this apparently. I'm going to get rid of the EGs here because, to be honest, I'm not sure if we're going to want any of these ones. Then we have variable declarator. Like, why? Do we not already have that? Qualified name. Package name. Simple name. I don't think we need any of these. Come back and check. There we go. We'll to do that. Okay. Then we also have literals. So we have integer literal, we have floating point literals, we have boolean literals, character literals, string literals, null literals, and then we have a text block literal as well. Now I'm going to ask it about some of these things. So, for example, we'll start with these. What are they not? I can bring this actually onto the main monitor so you guys can see. Just normal annotations. How would the parser even be able to tell? Because surely, if they are what I think they are, then that would only be able to be determined by the semantic analysis stage. So, Java has 3 syntactic forms of annotations. They all represent an annotation, but the grammar splits them because the shapes are different. So marker annotations are just identifier. Like identifier, no values, just a flag. Single element. Oh. And then. Right. I see. So they are syntactically different. So we actually... So we have annotation, and then we have like... That's like the broad one. And then we have marker annotation. Then we have single member annotation. And then we have normal annotation. What's a repeatable annotation? Isn't that just the same thing? You want to let me ask it? Would you also have, or what would something like this be? Would normal annotation not be the same as annotation? I mean, yes. Like it would. Like this is this, but this isn't necessarily this, right? That's basically how it works. So the way this will work, there'll be an annotation class, and then there'll be a subclass of annotation, which would be like marker annotation. Also, this isn't a thing, repeatable annotations. But that's basically how that will work. So annotation can be any of them. Okay, let's ask it about the other ones as well. So, for example, type underscore parameter is just what? Which one's type parameter? There we go. Let's see what it says. Oops. Exactly, you've noticed one of the duplication versus granarity issues that comes up when you take the JLS grammar productions and try and turn them directly into AST kinds. JLS uses different non-terminals for different contexts, but in AST usually collapse them into fewer. Right. So parameter versus variable declaration. JLS distinguishes between formal parameter and variable declarator. In an AST, they're both variables with a type and name. You might unify them, or you can keep them separate if you want fidelity. So type parameter versus type variable. Oh, so type variable is like where it's used. But then is a type variable just not a local variable declaration thing? And then throws clause. JLS has throws as part of a method to construct a declaration. You can model this as just a list of type inside method declaration. If you want uniformity, everything is a node, you make a throws clause node. I see. And catch formal parameter. Handle catch. Semantically, it's still just a parameter declaration, but with extra rules, union types allowed. You could unify it under parameter with a flag like is catch param. I see. Let me get rid of this to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this entire class and I'm just going to give it to ChatGPT and I'm just going to say, hey, get rid of duplicates and add examples and versions. So get rid of what you would consider to be not important duplicates and add the missing versions where necessary. Let's see. Okay, I think it's going to remove some that I actually don't want it to remove. I think it's going to remove class declaration and enum declaration and just have... Yeah. Okay, it's going to remove some that I actually don't want it to remove, isn't it? I'll include switch rule and case label, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what's it got rid of? Let me do a quick compare. So... Oh no, it's actually kept a lot of them. So I'm just going to go through. So we got compilation unit, requires, exports, opens, uses, provides. Those are all the same. Then we have class declaration. It's got rid of normal class declaration. That makes sense. And then it's got enum, record. It's got rid of normal interface and just merged these two. So you've got now class, enum, record, interface, annotation type. And then we got field, method, constructor, compact constructor, enum constant, and annotation type member declaration. And then we got initializer block, and then it's gotten rid of initializer block basically. Let me say initializers, and then we'll get rid of that one. Okay, and then in statements we have block statement. We need apparently an empty statement, and we need a labeled statement. That's true, we do need a label statement. So that's like label while condition, right? I don't think these have always been in Java though. Let me have a look at when those were introduced. When were label statements introduced into Java? I think they've always been there, I guess. I've done a quick Google, and it doesn't seem to say any version, so I guess they've always been there, which is interesting to know. Empty statement apparently would be a semicolon, which is good to know. And then we got expression statement, we got local variable declaration statement, if statement, switch rule is not there. Switch underscore rule. Which is a case like that. Then we have while statements, we have do while statements, we have basic for statement is gone. No, normal for statement is gone. Then basic for statement is still there. Enhanced for statement, break statement, continue statement, return statement, throw statement, try statement, catch statement, finally statement, synchronize statement, assert statement, yield statement. Those are all fine. Then we have expressions. So we have assignment, conditional, lambda, method invocation. We need as well method reference, which is Java 8 as well. Then we have object creation, array access, field access. This super parenthesized typecast instance of binary, unary, literal. Literal is gone. Which makes sense. That doesn't need to be an expression per se. Same with identifier. That's not really an expression. And qualified name isn't. Switch is. Yield. I think it's gotten rid of yield. But it hasn't said it's gotten rid of yield. But that definitely needs to be there, so I'm going to keep that there. You're not going to finish this today. I am fully aware of that, yes. We're not even going to get close to finishing that today. Or to finishing this today. Okay, then after that we have... Oh, it wants me to have type test as a separate thing. So we have instance of, which is like that. Then we have patterns. So we have a type test pattern. Hello Ash, welcome to the stream. And then we have a record pattern as well. And there's some other ones in newer versions as well, which we'll get to those later on. Okay, then we have primitive types, array types, class or interface types, type variables, intersection types, union types, wildcard types. That's all fine. Then we have modifiers. So we have modifier and annotation. I'm going to keep these ones though. I think that's fine. I will just get rid of normal annotation as like as an AST kind. Okay, then we have miscellaneous. We have a name. We have a parameter. We have a type parameter, a throws clause, and then we have a variable declarator, and then the rest are just gone. So these are names and miscellaneous. And then finally we have literals. So we have int, float, boolean, character, string, null, text block. All good. Okay. So, should we go through and add examples to each of these or not? I think we won't. I think we'll do that on the actual classes themselves rather than on these. I mean, maybe in the future we can, but this class would end up being Mahusive, so we can avoid that for now. Also, this is a kind of generic thing anyway, so I will need to come back and figure something out for that. Okay, the next thing we need is the AST visitor. So let me find what I used for that. I think it's a very simple class. Okay, so my thing is not in there. There we go. So we have, I have a statement visitor, and then I have, bro, you've been working on that for 40 minutes. Bro, it's important that you get them all there, you know? It's quite important. That class is very important. Okay, we need an AST visitor. Now, I'm going to split this up into two classes, I think. Or actually, no, I'll keep it as one. So this is an interface, and then we have the AST visitor. Okay. So this just takes in an R, which is like either a statement or an expression or whatever it be. So then we have R visit block statement, which takes in a block statement, which is not going to come from Groovy. It's going to import that either way, and I'm not going to be able to stop it, so we'll have to leave that for the moment. Visit function statement. Actually, how do we want to do this? I guess it's best to use AST kind here. I'm going to move this to my other class and see. Okay, so what it wants me to do really is visit compilation unit first, which would be a compilation unit node. Okay, and then it wants a package declaration. So I need to find a way to... I need a better way to put this on a monitor. I'm going to put it maybe on OBS and then do... Not that one. Wing Control T? What's the one that keeps it on top? Win Alt T? I thought it was Win Shift T, but that is apparently snipping tool. Did not think that was snipping tool, but sure. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. It won't move. So we have import declaration node. Then we have visit module declaration. We have requires directive. We have exports directive. We have opens directive. Is it actually going to use it or not? Yes, I think it's actually using the class I have open to determine these. That's nice. So it's static initializer block. Then we have block statement, empty statement, labeled statement, expression statement, local variable declaration statement, if statement, switch rule statement, or switch rule node, whatever, while statement, do while statement, basic for loop, enhanced for loop, break statement, continue statement, return statement, throw statement, try statement, catch statement. Finally, synchronized, assert, yield. And then we have expression. So we have to, we have expression node. We really need this isn't correct. It's already gotten a little bit lost. This needs to be visit assignment expression. Assignment expression. Then we have visit conditional expression. Visit lambda expression. Method invocation. Visit. What's next? Method reference. Method reference expression. Visit object creation expression. Array creation expression. Array access expression. Field access expression. Visit this expression, super expression, visit typecast expression. Then we have visit instance of expression. Visit binary expression, unary expression. Visit switch expression. Visit yield expression. Okay, then we have visit type test pattern. Visit record pattern. Then we have our visit primitive type, array type, class type, intersection type, union type, and we have type variable as well, but type variable needs to move. That needs to be below class. Then after union type, we have wildcard type. Then we have R, visit modifier. We have R, visit marker annotation. Single element, normal. R, visit name. R, visit parameter. R, visit type parameter. R, visit throws clause. R, visit variable declarator or declarator. R, visit integer literal. R, visit floating point literal, boolean literal, character literal, string literal, null literal, text block literal. Phew! Okay. Only a solid 83 errors and 86 warnings. Okay. That's that done. You'll never guess what we have to do now. We have to create all of these classes. Yay! And who said the class or who said the parser was fun? Who dare say that? Alright, I will be right back. I just need to shut my window before all of the mozzies and stuff come in. So let me do that real quick. Hello, okay, we are back. So, what is the next thing to do? I think it's what we don't want to do. And I think that's to create all of these classes. So, we have a couple options of how to do this. The first one... Yeah, so we have a couple options. A, generate all the classes, right? That's option 1. Option 2 is that we create them all as like a subclass under the, or like an inner class of AST node. So it'd be like AST node dot compilation unit node, AST node dot package declaration node, and it'll be like, that'll just be a massive file. And option 3 is that we create them all as separate files. I guess actually option 1 and then option 2 and 3 are, yeah, I guess that doesn't make sense. So okay, the options are we either generate it or we don't, and then once we've decided that, we decide whether we generate them as separate classes or all in one file, or yeah, in one file or separate files, right? Those are the options. So I am personally more inclined to not generate it and to have them all as separate files. And the reason just is because I think that'll be easier to deal with. Because the problem with generating them is they all are going to have different things in them. So we would have to define all of the different things that each one has, which is fine, right? That's what I did in my language, right? I designed them all like this. But that uses a library called Java Poet, and I kind of want this to be library free for the most part. Obviously, you know, you can't get rid of them, but for the most part, library free. Now, what I will say actually is I just want to get rid of node here. And I just want to change this. Now, I'll call them nodes still, but I don't want them to just be node like that. Now, that's probably going to start importing everything. Yes, it is. That's what I thought might happen. So we'll just have to ignore these for now. But yeah, that's fine. Okay, I think we'll create them as things in here, and we'll go through each one manually. So a compilation unit, first of all, what does it have? Apparently it just has a list of nodes, I guess. Can you tell me what each one would store inside of it? Okay, so let's let Copilot go ahead and do that for a second, and then we'll start creating our impulse. Okay, so let's create a compilation unit. Okay, and this will be a record. Now this has a bunch of things. So we have, for example, a package declaration. So that's going to be optional. So optional package declaration, which will be the package declaration. Then it will have a list of import declarations. Then we have a list of type declarations, which will be like generics. And then we have an optional of a module declaration as well. So that will basically be our compilation unit. And the important thing is that this extends, or implements, I guess, AST node, which is this one, AST node. Or does it? Let me see. Let's look at AST node for a second. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to have them as records. Unfortunately. So what I can do is I can go more actions, and I should be able to convert record to class. There we go. Now, I don't think we actually need any of these. But what we could do anyways is do equals and hash code and to string, which will just generate those for us, which saves us a little bit of effort. And then that means that what we can do is extend AST node, and we can implement the accept method. Now, let me have a look at what it said again. Okay, I'm having a look at it now. So AST visitor interface. I see. Okay. I see. Okay, so it does need to implement that as an actual fact. So implement. Actually, can I... So I can probably... Just trying to have a look at what it's done here. So it's actually created a span class, right? Meaning basically AST node doesn't need to have any of this data. Right, so what we would have is we would have a new class, which is a span, which is a record, and then this takes in our int pos, our int end pos, and then our int line and our int column. We don't need the toString. Like that. How's it going? Are you making tons of progress? Yes, we are making... Well, I wouldn't say tons of progress. Tons is, we're making progress. It couldn't go any faster. Let's put it like that. Okay, here we go. So we got AST kind, which is the kind. Then we have a span, which is the span. And then we have a list of AST node, which is the children. And then we have our R accept, which accepts the visitor like that. So then basically what that means is that in our subclass here, we can take in the span. So we can take span. We can say super. This needs to implement that. And this can now be a record, right? So now we can make this a record. We can get rid of these. We can get rid of these. And we can get rid of this. Right? That will then go there instead. I think. And then we can get rid of all of these. This will just become visitor.visit compilation unit. But we also need kind. So that's nice and simple. So in kind, we can just return compilation units. Now, children, however, yeah, basically just does this. So for the optionals, it adds it if it's present. For these ones, it just adds them as children. Nice. And that should be it. So now if we go into here, we can make sure this is importing the correct compilation unit, which is this one. Oh god, don't do that. We don't want it to get rid of my white space changes, because otherwise we'll never be able to figure out what's what. Okay, perfect. So obviously we're going to have errors for a very long time now, because we have a lot of things to go through. So next we have the package declaration. So I'm going to try and find what it's said to do for that. If it has even said what to do for that, which it hasn't. Once again, this is the one of the things that I never implemented in my language. I never got to packages or imports or anything like that. So we'll go package declaration, and yeah, hopefully this kind of figures it out, is the plan. This implements type declaration. Is that correct? Let me look at if it's given me a type declaration. Which permits... No, that's not one of the things that's permitted. This needs to be AST node, like that. So the span, it should have a span, I'm pretty sure. So span. Get rid of that. And yes, it has no children. And then this needs to become package declaration, like that. Don't do that. Stop trying to do that. Okay, next we have import declaration. So we'll do the same again. So we'll go import declaration. This will be a record. And I think it's basically going to be the same thing. Yeah, it will have some additional data there. So whether it's a static import and whether it's a wildcard import, I don't know why it's fully qualified all of these names. Let's not do that, please. Yeah, that just needs to be that one. And then we need to implement children, which is just nothing, right? It doesn't have children. So that's fine. Then we have module declaration as well. So let's do new class, module declaration, record. Okay. And then let's import the correct module declaration like that. And then we have the next one, which if we go into here, is requires directive. So we create a new class, requires directive, record. And I'm going to kind of let Copilot do these because I don't know much about these ones. So Copilot will know better than me when it comes to those ones. Then we can do the exports directive, which is a record. And I assume that's going to be pretty much exactly the same, kind of. There we go. Then we have opens directive, which is going to be pretty similar. Okay. So let me go in here. We do that. Then we have users, which I'm pretty sure is going to be exactly the same as opens in terms of like how it works. Apparently it is static, but that's fine. And then we have provides as well, which should be the same as requires, I believe. Apparently not quite. I know. It's kind of similar, I guess. Okay, there we go. Don't do that. I keep trying to auto-format it, but then I realize it actually doesn't want to be auto-formatted. Okay, so then we need to figure out what's happening here. Yeah, so we're going to want a type declaration class. So let's create a new class, which I think is an interface, which extends AST node. No, it doesn't have a kind, and we don't have any of these. This is just a generic interface, just to say like, hey, type declarations exist, meaning that's all done. I've accidentally closed the AST visitor, so I need that back. Okay, then we have class declaration. So we'll create a new class. We'll do a record. I'm going to say don't ask again, so I can get that to never come up again. Okay, now class declaration is a little bit more complicated. So we have a span. Then we have a list of modifier, which is the modifiers. Then we have a list of annotation, which is the annotations. We have a name. We have a list of type parameters. We have an optional of a type reference, which is the extends type. Then we have the list of type reference, which is the implements. Then we have the list of class member, which is the members, and then this just implements type declaration, and we can implement all of the methods. So kind, class declaration, children will basically be all of these. So modifiers, modifiers isn't a child, but annotations, correct. Name is also not a child. Type parameters, extensive present, then we add that. Implements, and then members. Perfect. This needs to be a list.copy of children, because that needs to be unmodifiable. Very, very important. And then visit will just return that. There we go. Okay. Then next we have enum declaration. So this is going to be pretty similar, kind of ish. It won't be as complicated though. So we still have the modifiers. We can still have annotations. We can still have a name. We can still have type parameters. And then we have our enum constant declarations as well. That's all fine as well. So then we can go into here. Enum declaration. Okay. Record declaration is the next one. I'm going to create some packages. Declaration. So then we can have this one, this one. Well, let's have, what did I call it in here for the first one? Okay, so structure. So let's have refactor rename to program, and then that will have compilation unit, package declaration, and import declaration. So we'll have compilation unit, package, and import will go inside of program. Then we have a new package, which I'm going to call J9, which will be module requires, provides, uses, opens, exports, and those will go inside of J9. And then we have class, which I'm going to call class, which will be these three, and the rest, of course, that we'll create in a second. So then we'll do a new class, which will be a record declaration. Okay, so that's kind of lost. It's lost everything from that. Let's bring it back, please. Or not, I guess. Let's just not bring it back, I guess. So we want span. Then we want a list of modifiers. We want a list of annotations. We want a name. We want a list of type parameters. And then we want record components. And then we also want the implements types, because they can implement. So a list of type ref implement types. Like that. And then we add all of these. Record declaration. Nice, those are all fine. This needs to be a new array list, and then add the annotations like that. Yeah, type parameters, blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's all fine. And then this needs to be a list copy of. This needs to be that, of which we can fix. Then we have interface declaration, so let's do this. Okay. Not stub. I don't know why I typed stub. Span. Span. List of modifier. Annotations. Name. Type parameters. Extends. It can't implement, can it? No. Interfaces can only extend. And then we have a list of members, which is a class member. We'll have an interface member. And then we can implement methods. Boom. Return a kind. List of AST node. This needs to be a new array list. There we go. Okay. And then annotation type direction. And then once I've done this, I'm going to end the stream. Because, you know, we could be going for hours and this isn't very exciting. So, we want a span. We want a, what else we want? Well, this one we want, I think, modifiers. I'm not sure if annotations can have modifiers or not. Off the top of my head. I think annotations can have annotations though, can't they? And then I don't think they can have types though. Let's see. Public at interface my annotation T Right, that's complaining. 1 second, let me do that. Oh god, I'm messing up. Yeah, interface may not have type parameters, so that doesn't work. But they can... No, they can't implement things, can they? No. Can they extend? Nope. Okay. That's fine. So the only other thing they need then is a name, and then they need a list of members. So annotation member, which will be the members. And then we'll just implement methods. So we'll have a list of children is equal to a new array list. Like that, and then annotation type declaration. Boom, like that. Let me quickly check that annotations can be annotated. I'm pretty sure they can. Click at interface, my annotation, and say like at deprecated, for example. Yes, they can be annotated. Okay. I thought they can't be, but I wasn't completely and utterly sure. So there you go. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to end the stream here because, as I say, we could be going for ages adding all of these different classes. I'm probably going to do some of them off stream. Probably not all of them because it's going to take a really long time to go through them all. But yeah, I'm going to end the stream here. And yeah, I don't know when I'm going to be streaming next. It won't be tomorrow. It might be Tuesday, maybe Wednesday though. We'll see. I'll get it scheduled whenever I know for sure. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye.